Mad Party is a new deck coming out with Darkness Ablaze, and today we're going to take you through 5 different deck lists and different ways that you can build Mad Party. If you're looking for a cheap one prize card deck, this is going to be it from Darkness Ablaze going forward. First off though, I'm going to take you through the basics of the deck, how to play it. If you already know how to play this, you've played Night March before, you're not new to the Pokemon TCG, check down below for timestamps to take you to all the different builds of this deck if you don't want to sit through how to play. In Darkness Ablaze, there are 4 Mad Party Pokemon. We've got Poltegeist, Bunnelby, Galarian, Mr. Rime, and Dedenne. Our attackers are going to be Poltegeist and Bunnelby. Basic concept of the deck is to get as many Pokemon as possible into your discard to do as much damage with your little one prize card attackers. It is a great budget deck going into the Darkness Ablaze format. Let's see how much it can keep up with those big VMAXs. Now, Poltegeist for me is going to be the main Pokemon in this deck. He is both an attacker and his ability is great. T-Break allows you to discard a Mad Party Pokemon from your hand and draw 2 cards. So Poltegeist is getting you the Pokemon in your discard you need to do damage, plus drawing through your deck. Our Poltegeist is also going to be attacking with Bunnelby. Both of them are going to be using Twin Energy, but unfortunately only Poltegeist can use Triple Acceleration Energy. But Bunnelby is just good in here as well. We need another attacker, only 4 Poltegeist is a little bit tight. In this deck there is also Galarian, Mr. Rime, and Dedenne. Neither of these 2 cards are going to be attacking in this deck as we are not running Water or Psychic Energy. It is all about that Poltegeist and that Bunnelby. And of course, to get evolved into our Poltegeist, we're going to have to be running a Sinistea in here as well to get going. The maximum amount of damage you can do with this deck is 300, which for a one prize attacker is great. All of your Mad Party builds are going to be running these Pokemon. Now let's take a look at the additional other Pokemon that you will probably be running in this deck. Now, for Mad Party to work, we're also going to be having to run more draw cards. So for this, we have, of course, Dedenne. You should all know Dedenne by now. We're going to be also running Crobat. Both of these are generally needed, although if you haven't got any Crobats yet, or you're not sure if you are going to get some Crobats, I'd put in some extra Dedennes. In fact, I'm kind of more leaning towards Dedenne in these builds rather than Crobat. I've been using Dedenne all the time. Crobat, not so much. A lot of the time I just discard him, but I need to do more testing. I think a 2-1 sort of line would be good. Other cards as well in here. We've got Bench Barrier Mew as our little Pokemon. Let's face it, Bunnelby's got 40 HP, Sinistei's got 30 HP. Some bench protection wouldn't go amiss, let's face that. And we have Oranguru as well. Oranguru I would recommend in the deck because of his ability. It allows you to switch one card from the hand and put it in your top of your deck. So, for example, if you have a Dedenne in your hand and you want to discard your hand, but you have that energy sitting there, what you can do is you can do your Oranguru, pop that energy onto the top of your deck, Dedenne away the rest of your hand, and then you will be drawing into that energy so it's not discarded, and then you'll get your other cards as well. It's a good way to make sure you don't discard all of your energies in your deck, and it can also just help you dig a little bit more and get the cards you need. Now, to take you through how to actually play this deck, I'll start off here with our very basic vanilla list on how you're going to be running this deck. So as we can see here, we've got all our Mad Party Pokemon. We have got 4 Bunnelby, 4 the Dedenne, 4 Sinistea, 4 Poltegeist, 4 Galarian, Mr. Rime, and for draw for our Pokemon is Dedenne, 2 of them, and 1 Crobat. See here, there's no other tech Pokemon, there's no Mew, no Oranguru, anything like that. This is just a straight Mad Party, straight trying to get the Mad Party Pokemon in the field and in your discard pile. Our supporter lines for this deck is we are running 4 Professor's Research, still the best draw supporter card in the format. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Our other supporters are 3 Boss's Orders in this list. You could easily down it to 2, but we are running 3. Boss is a great card in this, especially when your opponent's retreating. You might not have hit 300 damage for one of their VMAX Pokemon. It's good to get a big knockout on them with a Boss's Order. Now, here's where it gets a bit more unconventional compared to other decks. We have got 4 Roxie in this deck. Discard up to 2 Pokemon that aren't GX or EX and draw 3 cards for each. So hopefully if you're sitting in your hand with something like 2 Galarian Mr. Rimes that can't go out and attack anyway, you're going to discard the 2 of them with Roxie and then draw 6 cards. We are also running in this build 2 Hapu. Look at the top 6 cards of your deck and put 2 of them in your hand, discard the rest. So hopefully with the discard you're getting rid of your Mad Hatters. Sorry, Mad Partiers, not quite Mad Hatters, but they're almost there. And save the energies or supporter cards that you get off of that into your hand. Even if you're not discarding your Mad Hatters with Hapu, you are thinning your deck also. What you're going to want to do with this deck is dig and thin as quickly as possible to try and get most, not all, of your Mad Party Pokemon in the discard. That is all you need to do. You need to get as many Mad Party Pokemon in there as possible, but you need to think about the long game and make sure you do have enough Mad Party Pokemon left over to attack. But how are we going to get all them in the discard? As well as the supporters, we do have 4 Quick Ball. So this can get us our Bunnelbys, our Dedenys, our Sinistes. The Dedenys, it can get you Pokemon either to discard or it can get you Pokemon to get your attackers out. And we run 4 Great Ball, looking at the top 7 cards of your deck, so hopefully get out a Pokemon you also want. And 4 Evolution Incense also. So with Evolution Incense, you can either get yourself a Poltegeist, so you've got an attacker and you've got the T-Break ability on the field, or you can even get a Mr. Rhyme just to then go and discard him, say, with a Quick Ball, or with a Roxie if you've got Roxie sitting in your hand. I would like to prioritise getting Poltegeist out into the field, preferably 2 Poltegeist, so then you've got your attackers and he is just there for that ability. That ability T-Break is so much better than I expected it to be in this deck. It really works very well. Along with this, we do run 1 Ordinary Rod. That is there to get your Pokemon back. You might need another Bunnelby or 2 to attack with to finish out your game. Ordinary Rod is great in those situations in the early game where you needed to discard just a bit more than you really wanted to. We also run 1 Great Catcher in this build. The Dedenys are in pretty much every deck, if not every deck. Some people might be running a Greens engine actually, it won't be in a Greens deck, but apart from that, Dedenne is there, and Dedenne is a nice easy Pokemon for you to KO. Plus, Great Catcher has the ability of discarding cards from your hand, and that is what you want to do in this deck. You want to get as much in your discard as you can. In this build, we're running 2 U-turn boards. I found 2 is the right amount of switching items in this deck. You can run 3, but I've never found myself wanting 3 personally, so 2 is enough. If you're not running Oranguru, I would run U-turn board. If you are running Oranguru, run Air Balloon. Then your Oranguru has free retreat. But other options you can have are Scoop Up Net and Switch. Good old Switch. In this, we've got 4 Twin Energy, so both Poltegeist and Bunnelby can attack with the Twin Energy, so that's good. And we've got 4 Triple Acceleration Energy in here. Only for Poltegeist, but we need more than 4 energies to get attacking. Now, that is your very, very, very basic build of Mad Hatter Mad Party. Get the Pokemon in your discard pile, blow things up. Is there any other better ways to do this? Now we have got our second build here. This one is slightly different from the last one. The reason for this is we are running 2 Duskull in this list. Duskull allows you to discard 3 cards from your hand. He is looking for an evolution, but we're not going to be evolving little Duskull. Duskull is just in here to enable us to thin our deck more. On top of Duskull, we do have a Oranguru in here. I would recommend in most builds that you do run a Oranguru. It is a great Pokemon to enable you to keep your energies or keep your boss's orders, keep that important card that you need rather than discarding it, because you are digging and you will probably discard some cards you don't want to during the game, but Oranguru makes it possible so you can hopefully keep them in your deck. In this build, we are running 1 Rose Tower. Because we've got the Duskull, sometimes we're discarding a lot from our hand, and we'll have lower hands, so Rose Tower allows us to draw until we have 3 cards in our hand. Just an extra way to draw some extra cards, and that way we've got a Stadium card in our deck, hopefully for those decks that are running something like Wanderer's Labyrinth or Black Market. Good way to bounce those and get those out of the game. We have reduced our count of Evolution Incense down to 3. That's because we're only running 3 Sinistea in this, so we had room for the Duskulls. So we're going to be attacking more with Bunnelby, but we've still got the chance to go with Poltegeist in here. And because of that as well, that is why we've reduced our Triple Acceleration Energy down to 3. As we are running Oranguru, we're going for the Air Balloons over U-turn board. And for this build, we're going for the 4 Hapu and 2 Roxie. Now the reason we've gone for less Roxie is Roxie is discarding from your hand, and instead we've got the couple of Duskulls to kind of fill that purpose instead. So we're going for more heavy on the Hapu to get the Pokemon from your deck into your hand. Well, get the whatever cards you want from your deck into your hand with Hapu, not just Pokemon. List number 3. Now this is a bit different from our last one. We have Mew in here instead of our Duskulls. So Bench Barrier Mew, that's going to be protecting us from a few Pokemon in the format. And Teleon's running around rampant right now, is good against that. Just purely because Sinistea has 30 HP, Bunnelby has 40. If your opponent's doing bench damage, they've got a Decidueye just hitting 20 here and there. It's not going to work well for you in the prize trade, so having Mew in here to block some of that damage is hopefully really going to help us out. To go with this build, instead of Rose Towers, we don't have the Duskull to discard things from our hand, we've gone for Chaotic Swell. Chaotic Swell is probably my favourite stadium to run in the deck at the moment. It disrupts your opponent as well as just giving you a stadium in this deck. A stadium card is really what I feel Mad Party is missing at the moment, but Chaotic Swell is probably good. Stops your opponent from doing their stadium, so that's really what you're wanting to get out of it, seeing as there's no stadium that really fully benefits Mad Party. Our boss count is reduced to 2 in these last couple of builds. There's not quite enough room, but we still have that one Great Catcher as well, so that's hopefully going to be enough. And instead of the Hapu Roxie mix, we've got 3 of each. We've gone for an equal split of each. I've found in my testing they're both pretty good. They're both situational. I like having both of them in my deck, so I've gone for a 3-3 split here just to keep the supporter lineup nice and high. And we've got 4 triple acceleration and 4 twin. Got the full amounts in here, even though we're only going to get 3 Poltergeist out. If we prize one or we just can't draw into it or need to discard one, it's still good to have that maximum amount of 4 in here. Mad Party works well with Roxie. What also works well with Roxie? Weezing, made specifically for Roxie. So once in your turn you may discard this Pokemon and then put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. Sometimes your Mad Party just isn't quite hitting enough for the knockout. As you're running Roxie anyway and wanting to thin your deck, Weezing could be another good way to kind of get a little bit of spread damage on the board that your opponent might not be expecting. They might not be expecting the Weezing build, they might just think you're going to be straight Mad Party. So because of that, we have maxed out on Roxies, of course. We've gone for the 4 Roxies for this build and reduced it down to 2 Hapu. We've stuck with the Chaotic Swell. I feel that's probably going to be gooding the Weezing build. Could maybe do Spike Mouth, maybe, but nah, I think Chaotic Swell is probably going to be the best one. There's no room really in here. You could probably try and take in a Mew or something like that if you wanted to, but I feel it's a little bit tight. And because there's no Oranguru in this either, we've got the U-turn boards rather than Air Balloon. But you could probably drop something down, drop an Evolution Incense, or go down to 2 Sinistea. Let's go down to 2 Sinistea to get some Oranguru or something like that in there. Now this is a build I quite like. I wouldn't really fully recommend it over a straight consistent build, but it is a lot of fun playing this build instead. This is a Marnie Disruption build. So instead of your regular Roxie Hapu build, I've gone for just 2 Roxie and instead we've gone for 2 Marnie to enable us to disrupt our opponent a little bit in the earlier game or even the late game. The idea behind this one is Marnie in the early game to disrupt your opponent, and in the late game we have also got 2 reset stamps to disrupt them in the late game. And on top of all of that, we've got 4 Crushing Hammers as well. Just to put salt in the wound a little bit in there, you do the hammers, you do the Marnie or the reset stab, hope your opponent cannot get the item cards or the energies that they need to keep going, and you can just do Mad Party and hopefully win the game. We've still got our Chaotic Swell in here for... It's a disruption build, we want to disrupt them as much as we can. We've had to go down to 3 Sinistea, but I think that's fine, so because of that we've only got the 3 triple acceleration energies. We are lacking supporters. We've got a lot less supporters than we normally do. We would normally have more draw, but hopefully with this it does work out. It is fun, not quite as consistent as the other builds, but it's a nice little different method to do it. We also have an Eldegoss. Seeing as we do have less supporter cards, we went for the Eldegoss so we can enable us to get out that Marnie in the good situation in the early game, or get the boss we need to get a nice big knockout on there as well. Now, let's go back and take a little look at the Mew list. I would personally recommend this list at the moment. The only things I would want to change about this are, I prefer to have a 4-4 Sinistea line. I think Poltergeist is the MVP in this deck by far. He's such a good Pokemon. Even if you're not attacking with him, just having Having 2 Poltergeist out on the board is just phenomenal, frankly, just to get you set up, get all those damage, and just thin your deck so that you're going to have all the cards you need in the late game. I would also like a 4th Evolution Incense. Like, it's not... Evolution Incense in itself isn't really seen as a great card, but I feel in this deck, you're always going to be able to burn it. You're always going to be able to get a Mr. Rhyme or a Poltergeist to attack with. It actually works out really well, especially mixing it with Roxie just to get rid of some Pokemon. It's really good. Now, there are a fair few options in this deck. If you don't have Crobat, you can go for more Dedenne. They do come in the toolkit. I'm counting that as a budget deck now. If you don't have Great Catcher or another boss, if you don't have boss, we've got the normal catchers. That is another addition you could put into the deck. If you don't have Roxie, there is Milo, who has a little budget version as well. And of course we do actually have Pokemon Communication too, although Pokemon Communication isn't as good as the other cards because you don't want to switch your Pokemon back into the deck, you want to get them in the discard instead. That's why we're not running it. Although I would possibly run it in the Weezing build. I need to do a wee bit more testing with Weezing, that's the one I've done the least with. If you are getting started in the Pokemon trading card game, I would highly recommend playing Mad Party. It'll give you a good idea of how the basic concept of the game works. The deck is cheap to pick up, it's an easy, straightforward strategy to play. Not to master, to play. It is a good fun deck to get you into the game that shouldn't be too difficult for you to hopefully trade for online and have a lot of fun with. Next up, I'm going to be taking a look at Item Lock. I've been meaning to do Vikavolt for a while. I got some lists together. They weren't that great. I'm going to tweak them a little bit and get playing with them. After that, who knows? Who knows after that? We shall see what we're going to do. Now that Darkness Ablaze is out, let me know what decks you want to see. What have I not covered? There'll be lots more videos coming. Twitch is starting up in a couple of weeks. Make sure to like and subscribe. That would really mean a lot. Thank you. Now here's the Zigzagoon list. Don't play it. It's trash. Like, no. But like, no, seriously, I was like, let's do a scoop up build with Zigzagoon. And I was like, my Denny's in the active position. What am I going to do with that? It is stuck and they didn't knock it out, so